Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1114. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. Today, we hear from Bison, Bentley, Valentino, Madam Rootabega, plus the return of the much-loved segment, Holding Court with Lady KATY.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And there will be some interesting news I'll bring to you, maybe.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Well, yesterday I had dinner over at Vicky and Tom's. They made some delicious chicken and rice, and it was the bomb. And I got to bring my good dog named Basil, and he played with their dogs, and they got along. And they were doing a good time with barking and having...
Mike's Daily Podcast.
They're all like pit bull related. So, any noise, it was bark, bark, bark.
Mike's
But so much fun.
Daily
With their two dogs.
Podcast.
And Basil.
Yeah!
Well, I can only tell you that I did not want to leave. Oh, and they're the parents, by the way, of Robert Owen Welsh, who does the segment Welsh on the World, which we never do anymore. So, just to let you know, if you go way back in time, though, go way back to older podcasts, gosh, you might have to go into the 100 range. There was a Robert Owen Welsh. Welsh on the World was what it was, and he would make little observations on the world. Speaking of observations on the world, wow. Well, we've learned, as I mentioned yesterday, that the killer in Orlando was actually probably gay. He went out he went there to the Pulse, as it's called, Pulse, that club, to meet men, and he did apparently meet quite a few men. It'll be interesting to see if they can track down some of the people that he actually dated, but he just basically, on the spot, as he was holding hostages, just said he pledged allegiance to ISIS. And the thing is that you can't call any of these terrorists lone wolves, because they're constantly pledging allegiance to some other terrorist faction. So they're terrorists, but at the same time, the horrible thing he did to members of the gay community, that has been overshadowed by all the talk about the terrorism aspect of this and the connections to ISIS. It's almost as if he muddied it up and created this. Just took it all away from what it really is an affront to the gay community in the month. Pride Month. This is Pride Month. And then also, we're just a few weeks away from the anniversary of when the Supreme Court ruled that gay marriage was legal. So it's weird that all that got overshadowed in the media, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Oh, look who just walked in.
Hello, my congratulations to Madam Rootabega. I wanted to go to the dinner.
To the dinner I was at?
Yes, it sounds like it was fun.
We sat there and drank a hard lemonade, which they call a shandy. I didn't know. It's a lemonade beer. You know, like Mike's hard lemonade. It's not Mark. Screw Mark. Oh, I found out over the weekend that there's something called like Mark's Daily Apple or whatever, and that people apparently, when they try and look me up, they get that instead, and he's some CrossFit guy. It's all about muscles and working out your abs and your core. So I'm getting Patrick Warburton. That's who I keep trying to remember his name. Patrick Warburton. He's the guy from Seinfeld. He's the Elaine's boyfriend. That's also a mechanic. Talks like that. Patrick Warburton. He gets so much work. He's like one of the most well-paid voice actors. He does everything. He was the Tick in the live-action Tick. Okay, was that a tangent or what? Look who else has walked in.
Hello there, Mike. It's Valentino, the Patrick attendant. I mean, Patrick Warburton.
And it's Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we would have enjoyed that dinner you went to as well.
Yeah, we need a good dinner. All we ever eat is beans. Do you know that?
Yikes. Well, thanks, guys, for stopping by. But without any further ado, we got a lot of ado around here, so let's get to the wonderful segment, Holding Court with Lady KATY. By the way, you can hear all the past Lady KATY segments, and then, like, the last show we had the Marco Minute, and we've done the Daily Haley and Geronime, and all these fun segments you can find at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Also, a link to Amazon. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon and you want to help support the show, go through MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com and click on that Amazon link, and that helps us out. Or there's a PayPal if you'd like to donate and get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters that apparently indulge in beans. They eat a lot of it, the beans. And finally, there's also the wonderful podcast picture. Oh, let's get to that right now.
And here's today's podcast picture.
The podcast picture is actually me talking to this character that happened to be standing right here that we haven't acknowledged yet. Oh, everyone, it's Floyd the Floorman! Hey, Floyd. Hey! And so Floyd and I discussed the Today's Show. Yes, that's all there at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Brexit.
Holding Court with Lady KATY. Lady KATY. Lady KATY.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah, something adventurous always happens when we're chatting.
yeah, that was an interesting series of events. People and babies and very small dogs. And Coda, I hope her owners aren't listening. She has a huge cut on her ear.
It was not that bad.
It's, I guess.
You know, you could put a little Neosporin on that.
Yeah, she'll be fine. I mean, I didn't even hear her yelp or anything at any time, so
Yeah.
she's not in pain. She's fine.
That's good. Dogs will be dogs.
Yep.
And they'll be investigative, detective-y.
That's right.
Yeah, so Aaron Seuss and you are living together.
Yeah.
Are you going to start a band?
No, she already has so many musical things going on. She has her own music that she's played for me. She's an amazing musician. She has this one song that I want recorded, and I'll listen to it every day and every night.
Ooh, I'll have to play it on my show.
Yeah, oh, you should absolutely. She's so good. And she has Mally.
Okay, so we've got Dirty Dogs, and we had a lot of people we ran into here in the Fairmont Ridge area. Do you love Castro Valley?
This feels like some sort of trap. I do love Castro Valley. Sure.
But you're a world traveler. You lived in the Ukraine for a while.
Yeah, I've been all over. But there's no place like home, like Dorothy says.
That's right. Do you think Dorothy had a thing for the Cowardly Lion or the Scarecrow? I don't think she had a thing for the Tin Man. I don't know.
I'd say the only viable options are Scarecrow and Tin Man. I'd even maybe go with Tin Man number one. Even though he didn't have a heart. Girls love that. No heart. I think girls would, if you had the choice of no courage, no brain, or no heart, girls are going to go for either no brain or no heart.
Oh, okay. I can see where girls would like guys with no brain.
The guys with no courage never meet the girl in the first place.
Ah, that's true. They're too nervous and they're playing video games.
Yeah.
Ah, well, now...
And singing with a ton of weird vibrato.
Yeah, the Cowardly Lion. Well, this got interesting, huh? We went all of a sudden all Wizard of Oz there.
That went complete Wizard of Oz.
Isn't that sort of everyone's fallback fairy tale? Is Wizard of Oz? We don't really talk about Hansel and Gretel.
Fairy tale? Wizard of Oz?
Children's story?
A fable or something. Is it a fairy tale? There are no fairies. It's scary. I guess fairy tales are too. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's, it's kind of mythology and strangeness
Frank Baum wrote it. Do you know what Frank Baum used to do?
Write musicals?
He would do shop windows. He made colorful shop windows before he became a famous writer.
He must have a great imagination.
I think you're a closet writer, and you've written great works, haven't you, Katie?
I think you're a closet diary reader of mine, because one of my dreams is to be a writer, a closet writer.
Really? So you would write in your closet and then sell it under a nom de plume?
Closet writer. Like, I would be totally known and famous, and everyone would know my name, but I would write in the closet. That's what I mean when I say closet writer. I'm reading a series right now by Elena Ferrante, who is an Italian writer. She writes these amazing books called the Neapolitan novels.
Ooh.
And I just was reading about her today, and I found out that she is anonymous. Nobody knows who she is.
No.
Yeah, it's one of those cool mysteries.
It's a made-up name.
Yeah, it's a nom de plume, like you said.
Whoa.
Yes, it's just amazing to think that out there is this brilliant writer who has a ton of money, and I'm sure some people know her true identity, but she's secret to all of us.
Wow, so that's a good name. What's her name again?
Elena Ferrante. I always say Elena Ferrante, and then I saw online today that it's Elena Ferrante.
Wow, and does she... what's she write about?
If you describe the book, if you describe the series, it sounds kind of trite. It's about two female friends who grow up together in a poor neighborhood in Italy, and it's about just their coming of age. And it's so well written.
Huh.
It's a life-changing kind of book. I'm really enjoying. Well, I'm on the second book of there are 4 in the series, so I'm in the second one now. I'm loving it.
I still want to read this. Let me borrow it.
Okay, sure.
All right. And what's your mom gonna make?
I don't know. It's a surprise, but we're gonna watch the Warriors game.
Oh, go Warriors!
Go Warriors! Yep. Who's your favorite Warrior?
Stefan. The Curry guy.
You don't watch the Warriors, do you?
I did catch a little bit of that game Memorial Day weekend with Oklahoma City.
That was a great game. What was I going to say? I forget. Great ending to the episode.
Yeah, so if you remember what it is.
I know what it was.
Oh.
So one time I used to work for these sexist guys at this office. It's not even their fault. I don't know. They were just clueless.
Were they like old or young?
Older than 30. I don't know. All range.
Were they Italian?
No, but might as well have been.
They wrote books? Anyway, go on.
My boss once took me and several of my coworkers, who are all men, out to lunch. We were sitting out there at lunch. This was last year during the last series when the Warriors won the championship. And my boss looks at me. The Warriors come up, and we're all talking about the Warriors. And he looks at me and he says, "Katie, who's the cutest Warrior?" As if that's the only thing I care about. Like, he didn't ask me, like, oh, what, you know. That was his question for me specifically. You know, I was like, well, who do you think's the cutest Warrior? He's like, what? I'm like, why is it? It was the most sexist moment of my life. I was so angry.
What a jerk.
I know, but it's Harrison Barnes.
And there you go. Well, we're glad we found out who you think the cutest Warrior is.
Yeah.
And
underneath it all, that really is what I wanted to talk about, but I was offended that he asked.
You waited to the very last second, till I'm just about out of battery, time, and space, and memory.
Okay, well, let's wrap it up. Thanks for having me again, Mike. It's been a pleasure.
I've deleted so many Natalie Imbruglia songs from my... Yeah, we got to get our dogs dirty, and we had a lot of fun, and you have some beautiful wildflowers.
It's been great. Thanks, Mike.
To adorn your new house.
Yes. Can't wait to put them in a vase.
We'll have you back soon.
Can't wait.
Write the podcast in care of Katie, and we'll read your letters to her.
Yay! Yay, that'd be fun.
Thank you, Katie. Always a pleasure talking to you as we go outside a cafe anyway. We bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Next show, it will be Shelley Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the Engineer. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Tell all your friends. Share this podcast around the world.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!